All right, everyone, welcome along there. Week 12. So I thought it's time to try and draw this to a close, isn't it? Yeah, we've kind of gone through, we've revisited the whole of the New York water tower data set and really how it can be pulled together and how you can start to think about a few of these ideas to really maximize your data ingestion and processing and then actually utilization of it. So let's have a review of it and then see what we can do. And I've now published it so you can actually have a look and click through and try it for yourselves. Champion. Here we are. What can we really say that we've covered in here? Yeah. The first thing we looked at really was kind of understanding and unpicking the dates and ideas of actually what goes into building that calendar table. And I've put in a sample one for you. We can always put some more further down. And if you've got any questions, queries out like that, reach out. There's plenty of calendars out there. I know Razor Rad's got one. Melissa does one as well. Really good. Both very good. Again, might put links down below if I can find them all for everyone. Okay. And the main thing is you need to find one that you're going to use for you and for your organization. So the one I've got, I really don't remember where it came from. I know it wasn't from Razor Rad and it wasn't from Melissa, it was from somewhere else. But again, it was an M code one that came from the internet and I've just adapted it, modified it. It's great to see that there's similar ideas that are in mind to theirs. Always love seeing that when other professionals are doing similar things to me. And especially when you know that you've kind of come at them from your own perspective of, this is my environment. This would be a great thing to have. It's great to do. So, my drift, I know offset, I've seen it called. That's something really I use day to day in my work with my clients and things like that. Something you should be thinking about as well. We also covered the idea of like tabular data modeling. So actually, what is the Kimball schema? Is it something that we should still be using? And then lastly, we looked at the layers of Power BI. And so the idea of actually being able to put in like tooltips, like graphical tooltips to get more information into your clients, and then also drill downs or drill throughs. So that you have this multi-layered approach so that what looks like a very simple data plane or report plane can actually suddenly have layers above it and below it that make it a much more interactive experience for your customers. And I think a much more interesting experience too. So remember those as you're going forward. We looked at storage options. Yeah, I really wanted this to be something that we did in data marts and just had issues with it. And I'll be honest, I should probably go back and revisit it and do it, and I probably will. And we might well revisit using data marts for the next series that's going to come in May, because I'm going to take a bit of a break now. But that'll be well worth having a look at, because data marts for me, in my opinion, they are going to be a massive game changer for Power BI. Right, all sorts of version control, all that sort of stuff that we want to do in Power BI, frankly, we can't. Right, with data set files, they're too big. Like 1 gig is the maximum for your pro subscriptions. As you're heading into premium, they're getting up to 10, and that just isn't going to work. I've got clients where we've got 2 gigabyte files that we just okay, source control on that thing, that ain't happening. Okay, deployment pipelines help. These deployment pipelines, they help, but they're not source control. Okay, they're ways of checking and ensuring that you've done testing or that there's levels of validation in there. But again, there's no automation. These are all very manual steps, but these are putting in place a framework that you can use. Data marts are going to give us the access to that schema information that you need and that can then be source controlled. So I don't know if they're waiting to get it hooked into Azure DevOps or what. But that's the big piece that I think is missing in the platform at the moment, is getting data marts in and working well. So we'll see what happens with that. The deployment pipelines, I hope you've seen. It's interesting. It works really well. It's a shame I still can't work out that way of getting the content out in terms of that deployment history, because that's really important stuff. Okay. And then lastly, of course, we looked at the new map that I've found. Okay. So the new map that I found, let's see if we can, let's highlight some space on this, yeah? So the new map was this one, right? The icon map, right? Because in the past, we've looked at using like shape maps, which is this one, the shape. We've used, you've got Azure Maps, that one. And of course, you've got the bog standard one, like with the dotted pointy maps. Okay, I don't know how my third arrow just went all wrong. So we can see that there's progression in it, right? Icon maps are something I'm going to do an awful lot more. I know, right? The more I've looked at them, I'm like, oh, these are really good. These are really, really good. Okay, this is not showing them at their best, right? So I'm going to try and think of how we can better use the icon maps with the next data set that we're going to cover, right? Because the next one I want to do is I really want to leverage what an actual app in Power BI does and how we can really showcase it better than what I feel we're doing at the moment. Okay. And then last and not least, right, the bit that you probably have all wanted to see the most. Okay, we've got the report page. Here it is, yeah. I don't know if you've seen this. This is how Power BI looks now. You can embed Power BI content directly into your reports. I've embedded a whole page, but you can choose to embed specific images or visualizations from your report that are key to it. Okay, it's an interactive experience. So as we hover over it, it'll start to work. It helps if I'm not still on me, because I've got the. So straight away, yeah, being able to see in a PowerPoint, can you imagine this? I'm showing me thing, right? Obviously, you restructure so it's the full page, make it look good, right? Even if you're just pulling in specific visuals, you've got so much power here, okay? Because we can choose to, hide filter panes, we can choose to make it static, we can choose to do what we need to do. But even from here, I can look and say, all right, looking at Broadway here, or like Grand Central, and I can choose to drill through from it. So I can then go into the detailed view of this and we could see what's happened across time for this particular location. Okay, and this is all, right? This is the most bit that does my head in the most. This is just from within PowerPoint. All I've done is drop a link in, okay? Might show you how that's done, okay? But this is another thing, right? Because we keep being told, we're going to ditch PowerPoint. We're going to do this. We're going to ditch Excel. Being able to connect Excel directly to Power BI data sets, game changer. You don't need to download the data anymore. Connect to it. Do your pivot tables. Do what you want. Use your pivot tables to do any further calculations if you need, or it's the base for further calculations. Come through, refresh it. Job's done. You're not downloading whole tranches of data and then doing what it is you want to do off in the corner. Right? And then coming back with something crazy. It's all transparent suddenly. And if we can't validate what you've done, right? And the we is the whole organization. This is the same. Instead of me having to take screen grabs and dump them in a PowerPoint, I've got this option here. Right? I've chosen to leave this interactive, but it doesn't need to be. So what do you reckon then? Okay, what we've now got to is we've got a concept, haven't we? That Power BI is a really business-focused tool. And it's in a way that it's been very different in the past. And recently, in fact, last week, I was looking at the Gartner bake-off stuff that Microsoft was doing, like really talking about the AI components of Power BI. Some of them are kind of in there, and some of them I think they really were kind of like bigging up. Yeah, really big, really good, right? But the concept is really clear. What they want is something that is going to be front and center within a business. Looking at the way Microsoft are developing O365 with the Loop app that's now coming through. Again, I think probably the successor to, well, dare I say, Sway, which sounded amazing, was going to be great, and just kind of, right. Loop, I think, is going to bring more of like the new lists style of viewing, making that more interactive, bringing it further in, allowing you to bring it across multiple media platforms as well. So your Word, your Excel, your Office, or your Outlook, and your email. It's all kind of becoming, this concept is really, I can see what's going on. And it'll be really interesting to see how this keeps going and developing over the next 3 to 6 months. 12 months would be amazing. But so far, I'm loving it. And, the way you can really drop everything in and actually really interact with it makes a difference. So don't forget, yeah, have a click on the link down below to actually go and explore this report. It's not perfect. I know it's not perfect. It's not something that's been built in terms of this is going to work for you. This has been built in terms of let's go through and give you guys some ideas as to what you can do, or what the next steps should be for you as you're building more and doing more. So I hope you'll come back in May when we do our next series, and I'm going to keep it secret as to what that's going to be about. But I do have my ideas, and I am thinking about it. It will be New York. It won't be something that you've seen before. I'm certainly not on my channel. So stay safe, take care, have a great Easter. Ta-da.